thank you for that. I'm going to address Xavier. This is a question pertaining to the ever-present topic of the Mayan long count calendar. And the question is, much like our Western annual calendar, another long count period is to begin when this date ends, when that long count date ends. Can you explain the importance of this moment between the ending and the beginning of these long count periods?
Well, I think in the Mayan tradition, the calendars have 2500 period. 12,012 is coming an important day, and the all alignment on the all planets, they will change. But every 500 years is complete, like at 2500. So it is 500 years. I mean, it is 2000. 2500, right? And this period, this is the end of the Mayan now. But this does not mean the world is there will be end. It's not, because it's of the Mayan is the end, but not of the world.
Is it truly based on astrological timing, the alignment, the planet alignment? Are there other aspects in the Mayan culture that we're not familiar with, that we may not be aware of, that have to do with this date being such a prominent date based on that long count?
Well, you know, I don't know about the astrological or not, because I'm not educated about that. But in the history of the Mayan, it is the end of them, not of the world.
Understood.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So you know, I get very upset about the movie 2012, because, you know, it's all Hollywood and they freak all people, you know. But it's not. It's another cycle, you know.
Maybe almost doing more harm than good to put those thoughts out there, right?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Koyote, maybe you can add some additional insight into the calendar count and you know, the basis for that part of the shift.
Well, the idea of December 21st, 2012, comes from the Mayan, the Toltec, the Aztec calendars. That when you look at the calendar, you have 3 different wheels. Each one represents a different cycle. The cycle of nature, which they use to know when to plant the new seeds, when to harvest, all of that. The second one, roughly around 65 years, represents the lifetime of a human being. Each one, so the life of the life of the crops, the life of man, and the larger one, it's a much longer cycle, 28,000 years, representing the birth and life of an entire civilization or race. When we come to the ending of this, as my good friend Xavier said, has to do with the ending of what is known as the Maya, not the end of the world, not the end of the race. But we have to take a look at how that conversion comes at this point. We have, from different traditions, something very interesting happening in these times. For these calendars that comes from the Toltec and the Mayans, we are heading a dark night that has lasted 500 years. The life that entered darkness after the Europeans came and decimated the old civilizations that were here. At the same time, in the Hindu philosophy from the Vedas, we know that we are ending the era of Kali, the Kali Yuga, or the era of darkness, of ignorance, and about to start a different one. Now, from Western magic, we know that we have entered the era of Aquarius, and that started in the last century. Every transition that happens every 2,000 years has a couple of hundred years of transitional period. So from the point of view of a magician, the shift has started and it continues to happen. Now, all of them, all these different traditions, point to a change from a type of mentality that is divisive between two sexes, between different races, between powers that have and don't have, between that which we consider human and which we consider not human. All of those begin to change and shift. The era that we're about to enter, that we're entering, is now the era of the daughter. With the old cults of Sumeria, we had the era of the mother, then the era of the father with the rams, the sacrifices of animals, all the male religions that conquered and grew. Then we have the era of the son, which gives rise to Quetzalcoatl, to the Christ, to the Buddha, to Krishna, merging and renewing a personal relationship to divinity. And now we're entering the era of the daughter. The daughter takes the place of the mother. The daughter is a hermaphrodite. It reconciles the differences.
Union.
So we have seen how all the divisions between masculinity and femininity begin to dissolve. We become more democratic, we become more enlightened, more embracive, more open.
Wonderful answer. Thank you for that insight. I'm going to stay on this topic for a little bit longer because I think Dorothy may have some insight here as well. My question, in addition, as a follow-on to this, is then we all seem to come from the perspective that we are in the middle of this shift, or we're moving through the shift that it has already begun. And so, going forward, do you see that being of this lifetime, you kind of want everything to happen more quickly, I guess, is the idea. But the question is this something that is happening, I've heard stories of it ramping up, the time is speeding up, that what we have come to know before isn't necessarily how the shift is going to continue going forward as we're evolving along with it?
Well, the shift is happening right now. All you have to do is look at the headlines or watch the news. With the mudslides in China, the devastation in Pakistan, the oil spills, there is so much going on. And look at the lives of the people around you, the ones you love. There are people separating that have been unhappy for years, and all of a sudden they can't stay in their marriages or their relationships another minute. People are being separated from their jobs that they've been in for 30 years. It's happening. All of our stuff is coming up and hitting us in the face. We're having to look at what is real, what is important, and what is not. And it's very interesting because I have some friends who have just lost their jobs. And I said, congratulations, your job was killing you. That's what you've been telling me for years. And they go into fear. And what we need to be afraid of is fear. What's happening right now is wonderful. It's a cleansing. And since there is no death, there's nothing to be afraid of. Just stay in your heart. Be as good as you can be to the people you love and to strangers. We have to become the change that we want to see in the world. We have to. Gandhi said it years ago, and everybody is trying to change somebody else in their lives. It will never work. If you want peace in the world, bring peace into your heart and into your home, become peace, and then it will spread. So the shift is happening. It's not going to happen on a certain date, but the alignment is going to happen. And in 2012, we will be much further along than we are right now. And I beg to differ with Mark. This is Armageddon. And what does that mean? The apocalypse. It simply means that we are living in revelations. Everything is being revealed. Our governments can't get away with the lies anymore. And Armageddon and apocalypse simply means between two worlds. And the world has to end as we have known it to be. And we are birthing a new world.
Thank you, and thank you for that clarification.